111, 111. 112?
112.
112.
Last week was 111.
I thought that was 110. Did we?
No, that was.
I'm the only one who lost
New
the
Year's.
week. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Lo-Fi's fault. I'd like to blame officially Lo-Fi. And if you haven't seen the Lo-Fi New Year's Eve episode, I recommend you do not, because that was the end of last year and the start of this year, where we're going to do things much more professionally. There's going to be less gilf dolls and less lo-fi to start the year anyway. I love them so much, but they're like Kentucky Fried Chicken and cocaine. You just can't do too much of that stuff, or it's bad for you in the long run. So I've read. All right, here, Barbershop Podcast, coming to you from Boxo's studio in Hamilton, Ontario. Of course, where else? But Hamilton, Ontario, blast furnace of music. The very best in Hamilton and area musicians and music. And I have to say that because I've been fishing in Lake Erie pretty steady for the last few months. I have to give props where props are due. We'll get to that in a minute. But for now, I want to say hello to Ryan Cannon, Gary Greenland.
Hey.
Kicking this old cat down the road. How are things going, guys? Good? Strong? Strong?
Ready to go.
You're good. Need to know that. Because tonight is a magical night like every other magical night. And you guys help make the magic sparkle and shine. We do that. We showcase singer-songwriters. Everything we do here, regardless of genre, is original music. Came from just a spawn of an idea in someone's head, in their heart. Something that came from a real-life experience, be it something that was read about or imagined, but it's how someone perceived it. And they gave birth to it in every sense of the word. And I'm blessed and you're blessed to be able to see it here every week at Barbershop Podcast. It's a treasure that we have, that we take for granted. It's the creators and the providers of live music and the things worth living for. And we will continue to do that with your support and the support of our sponsors and the people here in the great city of Hamilton, Ontario, and the ones who come to it like the great Mecca that it is. And I can use that word because it is referenced with great reverence. I want to welcome Mr. Brendan P. General into the studio tonight, and he's brought back with him a couple of alums in the form of Cindy Dell and Brennagh Burns, who have been here in such great style before. You know, obviously you're an intelligent man. You're no idiot.
I like to think so, yeah.
They sound good.
Yeah, they're like butter.
They're like butter when they come in here. And it's a beautiful sounding room. Again, I want to give great thanks to Scotty Bacalar and his cedar skills. He was hit with the worst of bugs. And, you know, it could have something to do that he came by here on the weekend and, you know, we gave it to him. It's hard to say. We had like 4 kids and 2 dogs and
babysitting.
Yeah, it was, yeah, you know, there was probably a lot of viruses bouncing around in there. So if it's my fault, you know, I'm sorry. Scotty couldn't make it in tonight, but he's here in spirit anyway. And I know he's also here on Twitch TV, which is our provider, Twitch TV. Look it up, Podcast Barber. That's the same handle that we have on Twitter, at Podcast Barber. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube, or subscribe. I think that one is. But just put it in Google, Barbershop Podcast. Love it. Share it. Make it part of your life. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Yourself?
Good. I'm so glad that you came in to the studio. As I said, I've been fishing down Lake Erie way for a while, and the people, starting with, you know, Dwayne Rudder, who came in here and showed us the kind of skill and tenacity, the technique, and the beautiful things coming from outside of Hamilton and people who come into Hamilton. You certainly were one of them. And the fact that I got you to come on the show, I'm really pleased.
I'm happy you asked me.
And one of the things we talk about right off the bat with someone is tell me about music in your life. Like, you know, were you a musical prodigy as a child, or was it forced upon you?
Musical prodigy?
Yeah,
no.
It could be.
No, it was not. It wasn't forced on me either. My uncle brought records into the house. And, you know,
was it like contraband?
Yeah.
Or was it welcomed?
No, it was welcome. There was a lot of, you know, 50s stuff, Richie Valens and Eddie Cochran, all that kind of stuff.
So and those are all obviously awesome artists.
Yeah.
Was there any, because I remember there was also the free records that came with the stereo, and there was some some stuff like bossa nova. Bossa nova was big, and there was a lot of Tony Orlando and
Always Tony Orlando.
and
Herb Alpert.
Yeah, and stuff that it sneaks into your writing or in your sensibilities when you play later.
I think Herb Alpert's a huge influence on what I do. So.
Yeah. And a lot of times it takes a few years to be able to pull that out of your performance. Like, don't laugh. You're worried about being sued by Herb Alpert. No. I understand. That's happened before. He's quite a bastard, I hear.
Is he still alive? I'm sorry if you're watching. Great. Tijuana Brass is awesome.
It is. Yeah. It is. I've got a number of records back there. I love my vinyl, and I know you're a collector too. So when did this obviously influence your love of music? Where this is something you started
like
picking
vinyl?
up on? Yeah, like.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the '80s, and vinyl was still king.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, it was sort of like, it was kind of like a court jester still. It was dying off, but it was still there, and that was my format. When I was listening to music, so. And
when it became collectible, I mean, because I'm at the age that when I got out of school, the CD players were just coming out in force, and everyone wanted one, but we still sold a lot of high-end turntables because there was a lot of vinyl still being sold at that.
Right.
It made, because the CDs first came out, they were $20. So it made sense that if you were a kid or someone who didn't have a lot of disposable income, you were buying your stuff on vinyl and then taping it onto cassettes if you wanted to listen to it.
Yeah, that's basically what we did when we were kids, and off the radio too, taping stuff off the radio.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Who are some of the guilty pleasures like you still listen to today? And you
I don't know. New Kids on the Block, man. Yeah. I don't even care. I'm happy to say that. New Kids on the Block. Guilty pleasure.
Cool.
Footloose soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure. Psh, that's just a regular pleasure.
I listen to all the cheese. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you started playing and started writing, when did that happen?
I don't know, mid-teens or so.
Yeah. Like the angst-ridden normal thing, or were you like bound and determined to make a name or make a band or make something happen?
I just wanted to learn how to play guitar. My friend Yvonne in London let me borrow his guitar when I moved to Caledonia, and had 3 strings on it, and I learned how to play Everclear, Santa Monica in the 90s, and that was like the first song I ever learned how to play. So yeah, I don't know, it was just like, alternative 90s rock, right?
And for us, I mean, I'd played it, but I didn't really start playing a lot of crap until the internet with the old printers and Olga, the online guitar archive. And Tab Crawler came along afterwards, where it just had the lyrics of the song and then the chord or someone's interpretation of the 3-chord version or the 4-chord version of the song. But, it really allowed for someone. And years later, I realized, oh, my goodness, I'm playing the piano part, or I'm playing this part because that's the part that drives the song. And you're just a kid or somebody who's learning a song.
Just learning the melody on the guitar.
But they're, seeing how the computer age really... Because before you'd have to come up with the $20 to buy a music book or to get some sheet music or have someone teach you or have the ear to listen to a record or on the radio and pick it up.
Hal Leonard's very, very angry.
Yeah.
Because the internet, the internet ruins everything.
It does, but it
except
also...
for the show.
Except for this show makes us available to you now or 1,000 years from now. And all of us will never be so young or good looking. So let's embrace that this night in January is one just for us.
Exactly.
All right. So we're going to get into some live music, and we're going to play some stuff off of some of your recordings, and we'll talk about your place in Caledonia and maybe how that affected the whole thing, living there, because it's very country, but it's also
a little bit rock and roll.
A little bit rock and roll. Yeah. All right. So we got some Brandon General. Anything you want to preface the song with?
Doesn't really have a title yet, so
beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of new and yeah.
Okay. Kevin loves that stuff.
It's new and
it's all about a memory.
Yeah, it's all about a memory, I guess.
All right, here we go. Right at barbershoppodcast.com.
Never miss a moment just to make a mistake. A simple but a delicate art. Lessons of a life that you would never replace. Our filling up the holes in your heart. Time to sit and look at the stars from the hood of your car. Wrap my arms around you, warm like when you play the guitar. Hard to believe it, harder to admit that these stars are memories and ghosts from afar. Kinda like how you and me are. Shining like a diamond with a smile on your face, I stare until I'm legally blind. Burning like a fire, but I couldn't erase those images of you in my mind. Time to sit and look at the stars from the hood of your car. Wrap my arms around you, warm like when you play the guitar. Hard to believe it, harder to admit that these stars are memories and ghosts from afar. Kinda like how you and me are. We both had our share of doubts, but I edit all the bad shit out. 'Cause it's my mind and I get to decide what we were all about before the drought. Time to sit and look at the stars from the hood of your car. Wrap my arms around you, warm like when you play the guitar. Hard to believe it, harder to admit that these stars are memories and ghosts from afar. Kinda like how you and me are. Kinda like how you and me are.
Something beautiful and brand new from Brandon P. General here at Barbershop Podcast, where you're going to hear the great songwriters, the poets, the champions of tomorrow, someone willing to put down a piece of themselves and perform it in such a beautiful way. And we want to thank not only him for his music, but we want to thank one of our great sponsors. That's right. We want to segue like a mortar, 105 millimeter, coming at you. HamiltonArtist.ca. Let's give a shout out to them. They were the first people who loved what we did, jumped in with both feet. Maggie and Bob and everyone else down at HamiltonArtist.ca. They're at 1141 Main Street East at Balmoral in Hamilton, Ontario, just east of the Delta. That's HamiltonArtist.ca. They print anything on anything. They're committed to helping small businesses, artists, musicians. They promote and market your business. T-shirts, mugs, buttons, banners, anything you need printed on anything, they'll do it. Visit their online store, set up your own account, create your own orders without visiting the store if you don't feel like huffing it down to the Delta. But if you do go in there, it's beautiful. They've got custom apparel, scented candles, the whole 9 yards. They certainly did it up right. So if you want something from the smallest thing to the biggest vinyl banner, custom prints, blankets, tags, badges, keychains, plaques, mouse pads, you name it. HamiltonArtist.ca. Friends of Barbershop Podcast.com, and we love them for that. Caledonia. When you move to Caledonia, what were your first reactions? Did you find it like a peaceful, kind of neat place to be, or were you wanting more excitement in your life at that stage?
I was born in London, so I'm a city kid. Moving to Caledonia was a huge shock.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knew everybody. Going to high school was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. I wanted something more, but.
But so did you wind up channeling the energy? It's like, okay, I'm not going to go out and play football. I'm going to like.
I'm sure
I
on
need
some
to do
level.
this on some level. Yeah. Were you always writing for yourself and looking? Because this was an age where you could actually start like with a decent 4-track or start to document your songs.
Yeah.
Did you consciously doing that? Or,
Yeah, I was writing. I was in like a punk band in high school and writing acoustic ballads in my bedroom at night.
Always comfortable with technology and like wanting to do that stuff too?
Advanced technology and learning how to record and stuff, yeah.
So it started out aggressively with the punk thing like a lot of us do.
I mean, I say punk band, but I don't think it was
was
really,
loud.
It was, I mean, we were kids, so I mean, everything we do when we're kids, we're punks, right?
A bit thrashy and loud. Well, let's talk about you got some recordings. I always ask people, and I don't care. A lot of times people they don't realize how awesome some of the things that they've done themselves are. And this is something you recorded in your own place. Tell me a little bit about it and about the first one, Light Flash Forward.
Well, it was recorded in a bunch of different places. It was recorded out in Dunnville, mainly in a basement at a guy named Kyle Rowe's house. He has some really good mics and nice setup, and
Did you have a vision when you went in there what you wanted to do, or just kind of unfolded as you?
I mean the songs. It was supposed to be like a 10-song record, but the rest of them just took too long to record, or finish, I guess. So the whole vision was supposed to be kind of like a bigger production, horns and pianos and lots of vocals, layers and things like that. So a breakup record, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's good. You get your energy down, you get it out. That's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
You don't go cathartic situations and just let them die on the vine without getting something out of it.
Yeah.
Goodness knows. All right, we're going to hear a bit of it right here. Little flesh, little blood, Light Flash Forward. Little Brandon P. General here at BarbershopPodcast.com.
time to an end. Sight, sound, sorrow, a passage you write and they send. Did you make it everything you thought it'd be? Or did you shake it and tear it up furiously? Then you began.
From the record, I still call them records, My Flying Machine, Light Flash Forward, Brendan P. General. Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I want to give a shout out to all the musicians out there who continue to work and continue to produce original music. Do so, because once you've done it, it is forever, and you will have a copy of it. Put it out into the interweb somewhere, so it's going to be also forever. No one can take that away from you. The joy of live music. Support the establishments that support live music. The small labels, $5, $10, $15 here and there, can go a long way. You can blow through $20 really quickly, but $20 at a club, buying a ticket or a CD from someone who does that, that means a big deal. And trust me, there's some great stuff out there. There's a neat feeling as someone who is a fan to be able to turn someone on to a new musician and a new artist that you believe in. And when you see them succeed and when you see them rise through the ranks, you get the joy of knowing that you had a big part in that, or certainly a part in that. And we all try to be a part in the bigger picture, which is what live music is all about. And to make live music, you also have to record music. You know, because at the very least, you need to teach other people your songs. You can't be everywhere at once. But you get to, now expose people all around the world in what you're doing, which is kind of also neat.
The internet's not all bad.
It's not all bad. And just for, when you think about music university for kids coming up, and to have a resource like YouTube to be able to learn about Louis Armstrong or anything, and then they just, you get on it, and it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. It's such a great resource. And of course, we have a YouTube channel. Go looking for that. It'll be well worth your while. All right. Now, I want to hear some more great live music. You said you brought 4 in anyway, right? Yeah. All right. The first one, which we really like, which we haven't named yet, and I had the temptation to name it, because usually this thing you say about 13 times in the song.
Go ahead.
No, I've forgotten it by now.
Oh, okay.
Because you're coming on to another
I've forgotten
one.
it by now. It's the new name of the song.
I've forgotten it by now. But I just realized that while I was looking and finding a power supply, I also found a cigar. I think someone had a baby boy. He's probably 13 years old now. But we're going to celebrate tonight with Brendan P. General, and he's bringing some beautiful, fresh music in here, and he's going to play, and he's going to sing so wonderfully with a couple of the perfect strangers in here, Brennagh Burns and Cindy Dell. They're doing a beautiful job, and they're going to give us another song. What do you got for us now?
This song's called Spirits. It's a song about addiction, I think.
Sounds good to me. BarbershopPodcast.com.
Not gonna let you off easy. I'm gonna wait for another day. There's gotta be a better time to say what I wanted to say. Not growing up, you're going down. The bottle erupts and falls to the ground. Whether or not you'll see it too, they're haunting you. Lately I've been bitter, forgetting you've got your reasons too. But what can I say? I wish that I could make it all go away. You're not growing up, you're going down. The bottle erupts and falls to the ground. Whether or not you'll see it too. They're haunting you. Not growing up, you're going down. Bottle erupts and falls to the ground. Whether or not you'll see it too. You're not growing up, you're going down. The bottle erupts and falls to the ground. Whether or not you'll see it too. They're haunting you.
Beautiful. Brandon P. General here at Barbershop Podcast. Pouring it out live, but forever on the internet. On YouTube, you can subscribe to us. There's 112 episodes after this one online, all featuring wonderful live music from great artists who have a lot to contribute, and I'm glad that we can do our part to share that with the people out there. Now, we were talking about vinyl. We were talking about music, and you mentioned Sam Cooke, and I'm wondering, other than Sam Cooke, who are some of the great singers, and maybe some of the great soul singers, or some of the singers that influenced your style?
Question.
Yeah, I mean, going in, because you've got a song, you've got a style that's very evocative and familiar, and yet very original and true at the same time. Any kind of lessons, or what was your draw from, like, obviously you made a transition into a different style of music, or approaching it differently?
Like, what did I learn from those people? Like,
Yeah, or like who surprised you, and like who stuck with you? Like,
I'm a really big Harry Nilsson fan.
and he was someone who was, like, people forget, like, how huge he was in the 70s, because he's one of those people who just kind of, like, dropped off the radar a bit, but
everybody records his music.
Yeah.
And, a huge Harry Nilsson fan, Randy Newman.
and these are things, so if you've got YouTube now and you like this,
Look
these
it
are the
up.
people, look it up. And who else?
Like Buddy Holly
Yeah.
and Richie Valens and Eddie Cochran and stuff from the 50s.
Yeah.
Going back even for like Robert Johnson, and I don't know.
Is there a common element? Like, I sense a certain bum shakenness to, like, all of those artists. You know,
Yeah.
Robert Johnson, clearly deal with the devil. You know, he was playing the blues, but he was playing it in a way that got him shot. You know, because he was, you know, he was living
Poisoned.
it. Yeah, he was, like, poisoned.
What happened to him?
Wherever he went.
Apparently, he's got 3 official grave sites,
He
right?
does.
Yeah.
He does have 3. Well,
He did it upright. You know, but you know, I'd say all of those different influences, and even Harry, you know, the tragic figure in a lot of
I think it's what it is, the tragic figure. I mean, growing up, I went and saw the movie La Bamba with my mom when I was like 1987 that came out, so I was 6 or 7. That messed me up, like when you know the story of the plane crash and all that stuff. You know, ever since then I've been kind of morbidly obsessed with tragic figures. You know, I think the tragic figures are a little bit more interesting.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I've known some wonderful songwriters who You know, they were born in Milton and raised in Burlington, and they had to drag themselves here and become alcoholics to somehow fulfill the mead that was required. You know, the grist for the mill that they thought, you know, in order for me to be this good, I can't come from this. I can't have this background that isn't painful.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know if any of the, like, other than maybe Elliott Smith or something, none of them were really like painful. Well, Robert Johnson, I guess, too. Like, had painful lives. They're just tragic figures, plane crashes.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know. There's a couple too, you know, pretty big influences. I think you're right, though. You know, at least I hear from your music and from your influences, people who just really dealt with really difficult situations. You know, David Ruffin, you know, Ray Charles. I mean, a whole bunch of influences who, for whatever given reason. But I think that's one of the things about artists.
Yeah, and I think you need to grab people, and everyone's like any kind of art. They may not know it, but they know what they like. And I think that when you have to grab them with the honesty, and that's why when a terrible voice or an awkward, out of tune piano doesn't matter.
Oh, I love those things.
All of a sudden, when the honesty goes right through, and then you realize, you know, when you're at the production end of it, that ain't the be all end all, is to make it all pretty. Because if what it's starting with isn't there, or you suck that out of it, you're defeating the purpose.
Yeah,
So you do what I'm saying. I think in roundabout ways, you do a nice job of combining, you know, production elements with honesty
thank you.
in songwriting.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take another dip into My Flying Machine, which I love the title. Did it come to you in a dream?
Well, My Flying Machine is the I guess the band name.
The musical entity.
The moniker. Because, I don't know, Brandon General doesn't sound, I don't know. It's me, right? I don't know. So My Flying Machine just, I don't know. There's a bunch of different meanings, and I don't know.
I dig it. I dig it. Like right away, I dug it. You know, I like that. That was great. So My Flying Machine, here we go. Those Were the Days. Another great tune here from Brendan P. General at barbershoppodcast.com.
I remember me walking down the old laneway, optimism on my face. It was a very sunny day. I was under the age of majority then, and I guess that I was looking for a friend. Choose to be the tree. I wish I had been aware of the joke in the end. And I guess that I was looking for a friend. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days when I couldn't find my own way home. I found myself alone when I didn't want to be alone. I wanted something from nothing. I guess that I was looking for a friend. Optimism on my face, it was a very sunny day. I was under the age of majority then, and I guess that I was looking for a friend. You were like an avalanche, I was like a tree. I guess I could have been the avalanche. I chose to be the tree. I wish I had been aware of the joke in the
Yeah, those were the days. My Flying Machine, a little project from Brendan P. General. You'll be hearing more and more from him as he rises like the phoenix into the Hamilton melting pot. You going to come into this town? You going to do some damage?
Well, I mean, we are here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, blow it up. I mean, this is a very tough city. There's a lot of musical talent in here, and you can't go in. I want to play the music. You can't do it like that.
Oh, that's my problem. That's
You
what
do.
I've been doing,
You can't mutter and be polite. You would have to just
go and kick some people.
Yeah, just say, boom. And it's like you do it, and people will respond to your authenticity. No, I mean, you're very real. You have talent, and you have a good message and a good delivery system. So that in itself will get you halfway there. The rest of it is actually believing it and doing it repeatedly in the face of apparent disinterest, but that just means they really like you. It does. And when they really shit on you, they're really scared of you. So it's good. It's like the Hamilton, yay, they hate me, I'm doing something right. The worst thing you want is someone complimenting you. Me aside, right?
Right.
Me aside. Yeah. I'm not really saying that. It's true. But what I do want to say is I want to give a shout out to the providers and the purveyors of the finest pizza in town. They provided for us once again tonight, and that's our good friends over at Shenanigans. Where's Shenanigans? Well, Shenanigans, it used to be Ronnie G's, and before that it was DiMaggio's, and the locals will know what I'm talking about. But it's between Ottawa and Kenilworth, pretty well right there at Graham Avenue, right across from Delta High School, 1305 Main Street East, corner of Houghton Avenue in Hamilton, Ontario. That is Shenanigans. Like them on Facebook. Browse their menu. They've got some incredible specials. I think you get 2 pounds of wings and a couple taco pizzas for $13. You can get 2 tacos, and they have like tilapia too, for $5. They got pints of Bud for $3.75. I mean, they got all kinds of drink specials and food specials. It's not a music club per se, but they play DJ dance and music. If you like to shake your booty and go out on a Friday or Saturday night, for sure, go out and see our friends at Shenanigans, 1305 Main Street East. Great food. You go for the food, you'll stay for the good times. And as we like to say here at Barbershop Podcast, it's like it used to be in the good old days. Hamilton in the 80s and the 90s. We romanticize, we lionize. That's what we're allowed to do because we were here. We did it. We lived it. And we're living some live music tonight with Brendan General coming in here with a couple beautiful voices, and so glad that he did. You get to hear the wood and the steel and the intent and the delivery here, and we're going to get back to more live music. You're going to play one for us? What you got?
It's called In This House.
Nice. That's where we are.
Yeah.
It's
a love song about a breakup.
Of love and pure affection, the 2 of us are rarely left alone. And sure, we might want to just leave for a vacation, but we return, 'cause what we built here is a home. In this house, built of perfect imperfection, we laugh when we cry, and we tangle up the view. We both have roads that we are paving for the future, but still we love what we built here. It's a home. And though we both will exit to our separate doors, we've never seen before what we are seeing. Formulas change, but we will find a new equation. We stand in line to buy some time. this house, build a bold and true expression. Back and forth is a language that we use. We have no mind for sleight of hand or misdirection, but still we love what we built here. It's a home. And though we both will exit to our separate doors, we've never seen before, we'll see it. Formulas change, but we will find a new equation. We stand in line to buy some time. Buy some time. Buy some time.
In This House, a beautiful song about painful things that could be beautiful things again, the human condition, and that's what we're about. That's what you should be about. You can't do it 24/7, but it can save you from the daily grind. I'm talking about art. I'm talking about music. I'm talking about the people who give of themselves, not the takers, the givers. Why don't you give a little bit of what you got to someone who gives a little bit something on a regular basis? Go see a show, buy a CD, support someone. It'll be good for you. Trust me, I'm not wrong about these things too often anyway. Boxo Studio, we are working our butts off this week. Ryan Cannon taking a week off his grind in his high-paying job in the medical profession. He is a brain surgeon. You may not know that, but Brian Cannon actually works at the hospital, and he comes here with greens on a regular basis. I assume he's a brain surgeon from the way he operates computers. And
It's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty
That's
much the same
much
thing?
it.
Okay. And I know, but you've taken off a week from work to come in and finish up our Shameless Subversion CD, mental health record. And boy, oh boy, when you got something this good, you got to really handle it with kid gloves, don't you, Ryan?
Yeah.
It's like you cannot just like punt this thing out the door.
No,
You just-
there's a lot of attention, a lot of work, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you
going
hear
into
the
it.
same little bits over and over. And so, like, no one, like, if people came in here and they recorded for like 45 minutes or an hour, and then they have no idea. It's like if they have anything to say about their song, it's like, you don't understand. I've heard your song way more than you've ever heard your song. Like, I don't care, how many times you played it. I've heard it 4,000 times, and I've heard chunks of it. And Ryan even more so, right?
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful thing, and if it was not some of the greatest music that we've heard, trust me, it would be an awful experience. But it's fantastic. Each and every one of them great. Cindy's yours, superlative as usual. You are such a good musician in your own right. You have such a lovely voice. You two work really well together, and making some great songs tonight sound, even better. We're going to continue to forge on, flip-flopping back and forth between some cuts off of Brandon's CD featuring My Flying Machine, his vision. Once you get him in a studio and you start layering and putting a sound together, you can see he can do the strip down, and he can do the explosive and the creative and the elemental. And we're going to have a little more mental than elemental with Palo Mine. Palo Mine, is this a song that we should just launch into? Is it self-explanatory?
Well, actually, it's a cover of an old blues song from the 20s or 30s, I guess, yeah.
Grabbed your attention and you started screwing with it?
Oh, yeah, I've loved this song forever. Blind Willie McTell.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right here, barbershoppodcast.com.
I am thinking today how my love went far away. One that we used to know. One so kind and true. Lover, I'm always thinking of you. Even though it's back in those days of long ago. Call me back, Palo Mine. Let me live there once again. Call me back there to your heart. Palo Mine, oh Palo Mine. Let me thrill you with a charm while I linger in your arm, as I did in those days have gone by. Let me roam just your lips. So divine, so divine. Let me gaze in your eyes while I find paradise. Call me back there to your heart, proud mine. Let me roam once again down an old lover's lane, and I'll kiss your sweet lips. So divine, so divine. Let me gaze in your eyes while I find paradise. Call me back there to your heart, proud mine.
Do I love eating more or drinking more, Ryan? I don't know. I can't make that decision.
That's a dilemma. That's a dilemma for sure.
How to lose 100 pounds quickly. No, I'm not going to go there. That's Palo Mine, a great song from my flying machine, Brandon P. General, here on the podcast. He's come in to share his story in music. He's come in with Brenna Burns and Cindy Dell, who are singing some lovely harmonies with him. He's got some brand new music, some stuff that he doesn't even have names for yet. And we love that here at Barbershop Podcast. This is the sort of thing, if you're part of the scene and you've been at those magic kitchen parties. I remember I was at a hillside once, and it was a couple mandolin players. It was one day, it was Danny, one of the Whiteley boys from Heartbreak Hill, and he was a wonderful alcoholic. And there's another where there was a gospel family, and the kid was 15, and he was also phenomenal. And it was like 4:30 in the morning in a hotel lobby in Guelph, and here's like the devil and the angel going toe to toe, both grinning and loving each other's company and dexterity on the instrument. And you know, they get a little part of that every week, but the people in music must be a big part of why you still continue to be in music, right?
Yeah.
You don't get too many shitty people in good music.
You really don't. No. Shitty people doesn't.
It's kind of a filtering process, I think, that happens
On
naturally.
the radio, maybe.
Yeah. Like mechanical people on the radio. Yeah. Maybe they're shitty.
I don't know. Or they don't go, whenever you see something holistically or naturally kind of take root, when you've got people playing together, and the casual observer would be forgiven to look at that and think these people knew each other, that they knew the song, that they knew when the refrain or when the bridge was going to come in, and that the chorus was going to start on C and it was going to hold for the extra 4 measures. But none of that is spoken. None of that is known. But somehow in an instant, it's transmitted. Mm-hmm. And when you're part of it, you realize that you are not bigger than music, that there's something about
something else happening. Yeah.
Something else happening when you're part of the musical experience, and you see that, I don't know what to call it, but it's like when you, the school of fish or a flock of birds, all
Instinct.
they all go at the same time. You know, there was no communication about that, but rare times in humanity you get to experience it, and in music it happens all the time.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. The giggling that kind of happens afterwards.
Yeah.
You see, like, everything is like, I'm weightless, that was a wonderful experience. So, well, trust me, like, come out and see it. Like the Eggmen, when they play, you know, they get together and play these old Hamburg era Beatles songs, and they're all amazing players. And you know that he learned it on this instrument in that key, but they could still play it together. And the saves or figuring it out on the fly, like, to me, someone who gets cynical in this business, that's just the best. Every time seeing seasoned musicians get together and play something that 95% of the audience would swear that they play that every week.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool.
Totally.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, we're going to get another live one out of you, because we just heard Palo Mine. And before we hear another great recording from your magical flying machine, I'm going to change that name. No. We're going
It works for me.
to sound live. So you're going to do another live one for us.
Yeah, it's also new. I'm working on a working on a couple records right now.
So yeah, I remember you said that in a post that you're working on 2 records. So you envision not a double record, but 2 distinctly different records.
Yeah, staggered.
In style or in
No, like
in
one's
content?
gonna be like more like this, acoustic, and then the other one's gonna be more of a rock record. Yeah.
Cool. That's the way to do it, and you can afford to do it in this modern age.
I think so.
All right. Well, we give it to you every week, and all it takes is, well, checking us out. Barbershoppodcast.com has the links there to your Twitter page or wherever you want to go, to the YouTube site, or if you have a job where you're working the line, you said, I can't get home and I can't watch it, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. You can plug us in. It sounds as good, maybe even better with the headphones on instead of listening to it, because you got to watch it. But you know what? It's good any way you want to consume it. Barbershoppodcast.com with Brandon General right here, live.
Oh, I couldn't let you know. I couldn't let it show that my world came tumbling down. So I've been awake for days. I've seen the many ways that my world came tumbling down. World came tumbling down. You might hold my hand. You might see all my pain. Thought I knew everything in this world until it came tumbling down. Until it came tumbling down. Oh, I couldn't let it go. But how was I to know that my world would come tumbling down? Whoa, oh, oh. It happened nice and slow, just like an old-time picture show. Until that old world came tumbling down. World came tumbling down. You might hold my hand. You might see all my pain. Thought I knew everything in this world until it came tumbling down. Till it came tumbling down. I was afraid I was giving it away. I was afraid I was giving it away. I was afraid I was giving it away. I was afraid I was giving it away to that lone howling moon. 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 But just before dawn, when the fog around me, the morning light creeping over the hill, burns it away in a sweet triumphant glare. It's almost like it didn't care. I was afraid of giving you away. I was afraid of giving you away. Living today in the ghosts of yesterday. So I'll hold my own hand, and I'll see my pain. Bring a brand new love right into my world and keep it from tumbling down. And keep it from tumbling down. And keep it from tumbling down.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When the giggles happen because it's so fucking good. That is real. That is live. That is coming from the heart and the lungs and the fingers. And everyone shared on it. And I am so glad that we got this going here every week. Barbershop Podcast. Make sure you hook us up.
Absolutely.
Hook your friends up. Hook everyone up. So, music, any kind of things that happening now that you think, you know what, this is worthy. Stuff that you're listening to that is current music, that is popular. Because what happens when you become a singer-songwriter is you tend to disconnect with what's happening in relevancy. And to me, I still make myself go and put the car radio on scan, and I'll constantly just let whatever station is strong enough stop, and I'll listen to everything and force myself to listen to things I wouldn't normally listen to. Is there anyone who's turning you on or you're listening to right now where you're like, you know what, people like Mumford and Sons, and people would want to shit on that and say, well, it's because they're popular, you know, but they still harbored in a bunch of music that's kind of cool.
I really like the new Hosier record.
Okay.
What else am I listening to? That's I listen to so much music all the time. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. I mean, locally, there's a lot of really great musicians too. You know, like,
it's hard not to have the like. It's more, you know, ask me what I don't like.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to tell you what I don't like because I'm finding so much that I like. And for me, it's a generational thing where I'm very comfortable in the age group that I knew, but doing this show after about a year kind of ran out people in my age group that I knew. And then there was people who would approach me who were 20 years younger or 30 years younger. Jesus. Ish. And I'm really impressed, you know, not only that I think musically talented, but also that smacks of their dad's record collection, which is my record collection, which I like, which means that the old guys will buy your music like me, which means that you have got a better chance of maybe making music your life than, you know, to me, you know, it just seems like it's we're entering the possibilities outweigh the fear right now in the music business.
so open right now.
Yeah.
Because of the internet.
Yeah.
Come back to the internet.
It does.
I completely take back my original statement about the internet being a bad thing.
But something can wreck something and make it great at the same time.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it really,
always good and
you know,
bad.
it's everything's broken. Like the knock on me is that I could never do it by the book. I always had to do it my way or invent a way, and this is my love, and the old way doesn't work.
Right.
So no one's going to fault me if I fail trying to find a new way. But to me, when people are talking about how can we get, you know, for me, because I put on shows too, and it's the same 150 people we're all fighting over.
Right.
You know, it's like, why in a city of 500,000 people are the same base of 150 people where it's like, what are you wearing on Saturday night? Okay, I can't wear that. I'll have to wear this. That's bullshit. There's no way that I shouldn't be able to put a show on because my friend's putting a show on also, and I'll be taking, you know, but that's the way it is in this town. So to me, I see this show as a way to break that vice that we have in our head that unless I already know you and like you and I'm comfortable with you and approve of you, I won't endorse you. I certainly won't go and spend money. You know, it's like, here's for free. You get to hear someone.
Right.
And maybe you get to be the one who says, have you ever heard Sue Leonard? Who's Sue Leonard? Well, check this out. You know, she's pretty amazing, blah, blah, blah. How about Danny Medikovic? You know who Danny Medikovic is? No. You know, it's like you can go down the list where these are world-class people. Who the fuck was Bjork before somebody said, oh, check this out. Okay, she's a strange singer from Iceland. And then overnight, you know, and I wouldn't say overnight, but it's like when it became, you know, when she was written up in Rolling Stone, probably, it became like, wow, that's someone. But the quality didn't change. She was always that good, you know. So
She's crazy.
112 weeks, we've not had anyone shit the bed. You
That's
know,
good.
like we've not had anyone come in here and fail to perform. You know, and that sticks with me. That every week, regardless of who they are, they come in here and they do their job, and they do their job perfectly. Yeah, and if there is a screw up, it's something I don't even pick up and I don't notice. So,
Sweet.
you know, and there's something about like live music, because you know we do recordings in here, and it's a process where you want to have that kind of intimacy and honesty of a raw recording, but you also want to be like Photoshop yourself so you look your best in the picture, and that's always a bit of a trade-off. But you can't really fully describe how something that you can hear on with your headphones or a recording, how different it is to go to a place and experience live music.
Feel the energy.
Yeah, because it's more senses. It's you can taste it literally. You can feel it, and even the bass notes of a proper sound system in a bar that reverberate through your body.
Move your pants if it's loud enough. Remember when we went to some monster truck that one time?
Yeah,
Pant legs are moving.
It's a cool thing, and I'm telling you, for a lot of people think, well, wow, I got to wait until Alan Jackson comes to you know, the so and so. It's like they don't even know where they can go and see live music, but
I'd go see Alan Jackson.
Yeah, you know what? I've gotten over like crapping on any music, but I just get to the point where people are just so. You see it with a record collection. They flip through and they'll pick out the record they already own. You know, it's like at no point will they go, what the heck is this? What's this sound like? Put this on.
Right.
You know, they're just, you know, and I think that's a human condition, but let's get rid of that. You know, it's the only reason you
Open
haven't
it up.
seen someone because you haven't heard of them before. Well, now you have. Here's an opportunity. You know what they look like. You know what they sound like. And we're going to hear a little bit more of what you sound like. All right. What do you want to tell us about number 4 here?
What is number 4?
Leave a light on.
Leave a light on?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just don't say anything about it, right?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, I like those ones as much as anything. All right, barbershoppodcast.com.
My mistake, cleaning my plate. Now I won't ever have to carry the weight or try to relate, maybe deflate. Now I won't ever have to carry the weight in my heart. It's freeing up some real estate. I'll create, staying out late. Goodbye competition, goodbye hate. I'll lose some weight, go on some dates. Find me somebody who thinks I'm great. She'll rent first. We'll talk about a purchase later. There's no shame in trying to move along at your own pace. Everyone is fine, still on the road, on the stage.
another beauty. Leave the light on. From a My Flying Machine, which can be obtained not through any kind of procurement process other than going on your site, your Bandcamp site, and garnering it. That is a nice thing to give your music to people.
For free.
For free. FREE. So when people tell you there ain't nothing free in this world no more, you say that ain't bullshit. Because Brandon P. General will give you a little bit of his flying machine for free. We'll have that link, that Bandcamp link, attached to this podcast on our website, which is barbershoppodcast.com. Fantastic night today.
It was great.
It was.
Yeah.
It started when there was some light out, and now we've gone into the evening, but the days are getting longer. We're crawling out of the iciness. It's only a couple
Summer's on its way.
It's on its way. The chirping of the birds, the butterflies, everything. But to get you through the cold, lonely, gray days, we have some beautiful music. And are you done playing live? You got one more in the bag, or are you done?
I think that's all we have.
You're done? Well, you know what? If they want to see you, they can.
Yeah, it's true.
They're going to see you. You got a show coming up, and it's going to be at the Pearl Company, which we love. Barbara and Gary's place at 16 Stephen Street, the Pearl Company in Hamilton, Ontario. It is a creative space, unrivaled, that has plays, concerts, all kinds of events.
Comedy, dance.
Yeah,
Art gallery.
Art gallery happening right there. That's the Pearl Company in Hamilton, and it is this Saturday. When is it?
Friday.
This Friday.
Friday at 8.
Friday at 8 p.m. You want to go there? It's $15, and
Musical guest for Aaron and Nara's Best of show. It's awesome.
yeah, it's going to be, and you're going to be appearing as one of the precursors.
Somewhere in the mix.
Somewhere in the mix.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Maybe in and out of the mix.
Guarantee you're going to hear some more beautiful music like that. I want to thank you for coming in
I want to
tonight.
thank you for having us.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It sounded great. Everyone had a great time. I had a great time. For Gary Greenland and Ryan Cannon and all of the good folks at barbershoppodcast.com, we want to thank you for joining us in episode 112 with Brandon P. General. And I hope you come back next week for lucky number 113 for Pearlie Jenkins, who was sick and unable to make the first one. And that was Dinner Bells made it in, and so he's coming solo this time. He said, I ain't missing it for the world. He's going to be in here. Come check him out next week. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. We all do. Barbershoppodcast.com. Thanks for coming out each and every week. Take care.